Law here on May 11th, 2026. Good times. At least I think. Oh, come on. There we go. Move that over. Alright, sorry for the delay tonight. Brother having issues with his brakes on his truck. Looks like he's going to have to replace both calipers, brake calipers on the front. So, yeah. Just got off the phone with him. And here I am. And here you are. Let's see, we do shout out over here to Telegram. Regina, Michael Casper, Diesel D's, good to see you, brothers. Wendy, Prayer Warrior, good to see you too. JPC5, Paint Gun Spooty. Ralph K, good to see you. Palindrome, good to see you. Jeffrey Alvey, and Derek, and anybody else that's not on the live here that might be in the comment section over there. Kathy Watson, good to see you, dear. I had a pretty darn good camping trip, folks. It was nice up there. It was really quiet. Hardly anybody up there at all. And nobody in the little valley that we were in. Nobody else camping up there. There were some people camping up top. But they were workers who were working on remodeling a couple of the campgrounds down in there. But as for people camping, nobody. Just me and my brother. All caps false prophet out here on Rumble. Good to see you. Jacqueline, good to see you, dear. Missed you last week. Or, yeah. I did do Monday night last week, but you weren't here. So hope you were doing okay. Regina, can you see me now? All right. And nobody's commented out here on Facebook or X. Amunzen 58, good to see you. Thoughts on Express Trust? Well, that's kind of a broad topic, but Greg Danuk, good to see you, brother. Canadian, eh? Thank you, Wendy, for checking out there, making your rounds. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's a whole like educational show in itself on trusts, but yeah. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. We only got let me see if I can get this over here and then I'll pull it up. So I got pictured on my phone here. No. We want to go here. There they are. Now, let's share that over there. Now I can pull it from there to, from so there's the, I don't know, there's 100+ morels there. Now this is our first year finding the white ones, our little honey spot. Either we were a little early due to weather, and we also went up early, right? Typically we go up the end of May or third week of May, around the 20th, the week before Memorial Weekend, before everybody else goes up for camping. But we heard that the morels were popping, and we wanted to get up there early and get them while they're popping. Well, we got up there, and well, they were pretty scarce. We went up Tuesday morning, and we went scouting around, and man, they were just really scarce. A couple of them had popped a couple different places, but we only found like a dozen or so the first day, and we hit our three main spots, and yeah, our little honey spot, man, we only found like 6 or 7 there, which is usually a gold mine. But we ended up going back to the honey spot on Thursday, and it was the last spot. And that's the other thing too, is like pretty much every trail that we usually go on, there were trees down everywhere. Even on the main road, they had just barely got one of the trees that was across the main road getting up to camping. My brother's cousin was up there in that area morel hunting, and said that he couldn't get through because there was a tree still across the main road. But they did get up to one spot there where the snow was at, and had the kids there and had a snowball fight, so they had a good time there. But didn't find a whole lot of mushrooms, probably because they couldn't get all the way in there. But yeah, oh man, there was one kind of like a quad dirt bike trail, and we had cleared 3 trees and then hit the 4th one, and when we got to the 4th one, just right past that, there was a 5th one, and it was a really big tree, like 2 foot around, big, huge tree. There's no way that we're dragging that sucker. We're gonna go over it or under it in certain cases. So we just like, you know what? We've already cleared 3. We could easily clear this one right here. It was a real small one, 6-8 inch round. But just, I mean, we could literally see the next tree. My brother actually walked up there, and he's like, "No way, dude. There's no way to go under it because it's too low, and it's too big to try and maneuver around and to go over." So a lot of trees were down this year, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, we saw on the main road there were, I don't know, at least 3 trees where they had literally just cleared them, probably within a day or two of us going up there, or even that morning possibly. Looked like completely fresh, sawdust. But like I said, we actually went up early, so about 2.5 weeks early. But we made it. No real good riding because the trails were all messed up, full of trees. But still had a really good time. Super quiet. Nobody else up there. Not too chilly at night. I think it got down, the lowest it got down the one night was, what was it, 40, 43? I think it was 43 degrees the one night was the coldest night. And it only got up to about, what was it, Wednesday, I think we hit a high of like 70 or 71. So other than that, really cool days. Sunny but cool. A little bit of a windstorm come through Wednesday evening there. The wind picked up pretty good. Mostly really high wind. It was up in the higher trees and stuff. Wasn't down through the camp, which was nice. Mark Bond, good to see you, brother. And you were with your mom last week. Okay, Jacqueline. That's excusable. At least it wasn't you being under the weather or something like that. And of course, shout out to all the mothers out there for Mother's Day yesterday. Had a nice get together at my mom's house there with sister and brother-in-law and mom and her boyfriend. We had barbecued up some ribs and had some good food and good time. Other than that, unpacking. I still haven't even put everything away from camping. I got piled in the garage. Haven't really fully put everything back away yet. But yeah, good times. Just me and my brother out there enjoying the silence. Except for the frogs. We did hear one owl, some grouse. What else? What else was it? There's some ravens. That's about it. But a good time. I think we saw about 5 cars total come through around the bend there where we camp during the day hunting morels. Through the whole 4 days we were there. So, yeah. Good frickin' time. So there you go, Ralph. There's I don't know, somewhere around 120 morels there. Oh yeah, on the honey spot. We went back to the honey spot on Thursday, and then we found a few. And I had said, okay, I'm done. I'm headed back to camp. My brother decided to go up the road a little bit there and just kind of eyeball things, and he found a spot he thought was going to be a good spot, and it was really steep off the edge there, just down inside this ravine. And he got into all them white mushrooms there. So, and it's crazy because we were just talking about them Wednesday night, how you know, he had a friend of his that took him up morel hunting one time, and they found some white mushrooms, and that was his first time ever seeing them. And he was like, yeah, he's never found them on his own, you know. And that was Wednesday night, we were talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, I've never seen those. And yeah, he came back with all those white mushrooms. Because we were actually thinking about staying another day because they were really starting to pop. So in that area that we were in, so we were like, okay, well, if we don't, you know, maybe we'll stay another day. We had plenty of food. But yeah, he found all those. He was satisfied. Put us over the 100 100 mushroom mark, and it was a good time. No extreme cold or extreme hot, no major weather, just a flat out good time. Oh, good to see you, James, out there on YouTube. And Jennifer. No, Wendy, we didn't go where the salmon migrate. No. We were straight up in the mountains up by a reservoir and just little creek running through there. I think right there at where we were camped was we looked, it was like right at 4,800 feet elevation at the campsite. Then going back up the mountain, or going down and then back up, because again we were down inside of a ravine, and we rode around to see if we could get up and over to the other side, and nope, still snow on the main road. Right, Mark? Absolutely. Be very careful with these mushrooms, especially with the morels. Well, any mushroom, really. But there's fake morels, which we actually ran into a few of those up there. They look like morels, but they're poisonous. So, like Mark says, if you don't know your mushrooms, don't eat them, unless you want to lose your liver or literally poison yourself and die there. Christine Grace's YouTube, good to see you. Thank you. Hey, Doug, how you doing, brother? Yeah, Amanza, we actually eat our own mushrooms, and my brother gives some to his cousin, and his mom really likes them. I know they're a delicatessen, let me tell you. $20 a pound this year, huh? But yeah, good time. Glad to have been able to get away for 4 days straight. Get away from all the 5G and all that. Yeah. The poisonous mushrooms, that's bad stuff. My brother actually got himself a book on them. Actually, he's got 2 different books on mushrooms, so he's really studied up. I don't. I just go for the fun of it because my brother likes to go, and it gets me exercise, and I get to hang out with my brother. Although I do like mushrooms, so sauteed, whatever. More specifically, like the portobellos and that kind of stuff. But mushrooms themselves are, to me, are okay, and not the funny ones. Oh, absolutely good on steaks. Yeah. Yeah, we do have a lot of steelhead here and salmon. There's definitely good fishing in Idaho. But we're all out, so stay where you're at. Don't come here. What are you saying there, James? $1 million from time of fake currency is... Huh. You must have hit enter before you meant to send that. Right? All out. Stay where you are. So $1 million is only worth 37,500. Is that what you're saying of the fake currency? Wow. Well, we'll see. So, I want to. You've never fished, Jacqueline? You poor depraved woman. I have this video here I want to share. It's Michael Jaco, and let me see, make sure. 27:51. So, right here, he's going to talk about how is it David Clemens or something like that? A different guy. Peachin Casma, you'll have to forgive me on that one. I'm just going to call you Peach. Why don't we just go back to bartering? Spread out flyers and tell people, hey, we trading now instead of using fiat. Absolutely. In fact, there's a few people here in Idaho that are talking about this kind of stuff. Bartering and trading amongst ourselves. So that idea is most definitely floating around quite a bit. So, well, come on out here, Jacqueline, and we'll take you fishing. Take you up into the mountains here in Idaho, and you'll never want to go back. A lot of freedom. All right, let's take a listen here real quick. Hopefully everybody can hear the audio.
Bonds everywhere, bond this, bond that, everywhere bond, so the judicial is protecting that. The judicial across America is corrupt, right? So David Clements, law professor, won all kind of awards, and then he went and talked to President Trump, had dinner with him and a bunch of other people, and then a week later, they basically fire him because he talked to Trump and he started talking all the good stuff. But before that, he was like great law professor, so good that they gave him an award. So this is the lawfare that's happening against a lot of us. Of course, President Trump went through incredible levels of lawfare. David Clements did as well, but he was able to shuck and jive out of it. So he says the judicial must be handled. This is what he briefed President Trump. And so he says, basically, it's all corrupt. And so he's like, sharing with us about what Trump was like nodding his head, being quiet. And then when he said, they're all corrupt. All the judicial's, all of it's corrupt. And he said, all of it? Like that? And so he asked that question like that. So Of course, David Clement's a very intelligent guy, but he said that President Trump's like on another level. So pretty cool. So he said, military tribunals, guys. So David Clement is like, we're heading towards military tribunals. And I've told you guys that they're coming. Now, some of you will believe it when you see it. That's fine, because we've heard it a lot of different times. But I just heard it from someone that they are heading down to do the military tribunals in Guantanamo. All right, so that's coming, and they didn't say exactly when, but I got the impression it was within the next few weeks. All right, so there's other people that are here that are saying, and I put this out. There's 600 JAG officers, military. Judge Advocate General, so military lawyers that are being called up, 600. So one guy that was here at this event said he's pretty significant guy, and he's running for office here, and I might have him on as well. I'm not sure what but he stood up at the end and talked about how his lawyer, who's a gun lawyer, there's people here in Nevada that had their election stolen, so they're going forward with cases, and they're going.
Okay, so back up just a second. There's the fact that the whole how many times have I said this over the years, that the whole entire judicial branch is corrupt. In fact, it's the whole legislative, executive, and judicial. The whole thing is corrupt. But nobody's talking about why or how it's corrupt. But the fact is what did he just say? 600 plus JAG officers are being deployed basically to Gitmo for military tribunals. And I doubt it's just Gitmo. Okay? Well, again, busy bee buzzing. It's the entire system, the whole thing. And I know that my followers that have been following me for years have heard me say this many times. The whole system is corrupt. The entire thing, from the legislative, executive, judicial, it's no longer in our Republican form of government. It appears to be a legislative, executive, and judicial, but it's not. The whole Reconstruction Acts of 1871 and throughout the years have slowly gotten rid of our common law grand juries, our common law courts, and then they altered the fundamental law from the common law to Roman civil law, the code. Right? This is all Roman civil law. It is not common law. This isn't administrative. This isn't admiralty maritime. This is Roman civil law, the code. Okay? Let's get it right. Let's say it right and call it out for what it is. It's right in the Declaration of Independence, subjecting us to a jurisdiction that is foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our law, and giving his assent to their pretended acts of legislation. It's the same thing again. It's the Roman civil law, the code. United States Code, Code of Federal Regulations, Uniform Commercial Code, Idaho Code. Code is Roman civil law. There's no beating around the bush here. That's what it is. And it's a foreign jurisdiction. And for those of you who've been following me for quite some time, this isn't the first time you've heard this. This has happened over and over and over and over and over and over and over again throughout history. It's the same damn thing. The Roman civil law. Okay? So that's the real problem. At the root is Roman civil law. They've altered the fundamental law. Then you get into the Administrative Procedures Act, right? 1946 there. That's when they started, basically, they stripped the legislature of their powers and transferred it over to the executive, where this rulemaking happens, and by the executive agencies, which are all corporations, because that's how a monarchy works. Monarchy uses corporations or companies, which are really, that's a military term, a company of men. Military, right, back to Montesquieu and his Spirit of Laws, that a monarchy's known rule is warfare, to conquer. So that's what they've done all throughout history, even before Jesus' time. Okay, this is it's ancient. That's just the way it's been. That's the way they are. So that's the reality. That's the truth. But here they're, somebody who's got a little more clout than I have because he had awards and he's a member of the bar and all that good stuff, tells Trump that the judicial branch is corrupt. And Trump says, the whole thing? Yes. They do not follow due process of law from the common law. Period. But there's the problem we have today is nobody knows the real law. Nobody. Right? Sweet. Good for you, Mark. We need to start having conversations with these kinds of people. Talking to a lawyer and a cop Saturday about what they think is law, and they were listening. Well, good. Right, Jacqueline? Trump is playing stupid. Yeah, Trump already knows the entire system is corrupt. That's why he went through what he did, to expose it to everybody else that the entire system is corrupt. And it's all orchestrated and perpetrated by members of the bar. It's all controlled by them, and that's why they, unauthorized practice of law, blah blah blah, because you're not a member of the bar, and it's like, the law is supposed to be written in plain English so that the average man can read it and comprehend it. What do you mean unauthorized practice of law? Unauthorized by who? And what law are you talking about? So, back to Michael Jaco here, this video talks about quite a few different things, about like the bonds and stuff, kind of some of the stuff that we were talking about in with the toll and roll stuff, okay? So it's amazing how the stuff that toll and roll has been doing and working on for a couple of years now, that it's coming to fruition, along with these, speaking on these fraudulent deeds, warranty deeds, and all this stuff, members of the bar, real estate agents, and all that good stuff. So I'll share that link out there for this particular video for anybody who wants to go back and watch it. But I'm going to play a little bit more of this video here. The main part I wanted people to hear is that, okay, within a couple of weeks here, This is what it seems like. And there's hundreds of thousands of indictments. So, based on my source and my understanding of what's going on, without flat out being told really much of anything, I'm just having to basically read between the lines. But the fact is been out of communication for what, a year plus now. Little highs here and there, making sure that you're okay, that you're still alive, but knowing that you can't really talk to me right now, that shit's been going down, folks. They've been out there making arrests like crazy over the last year. Right, Wendy? Yeah, I know. This is part of the problem, you know. Those that are good little slaves don't experience the corruption of the courts, right? You know, they have a good enough job to where they make enough money to pay all their bills and taxes, and they're good little slaves, and they you know, they pay every little tax and everything here, and then they still have enough money for all their toys and fun. They're okay. But those of us that struggle and have experienced the corruption, the corrupt courts, especially like family courts, but it's all of it, the whole thing. The whole thing. It isn't just family courts. It isn't just the criminal courts. It's the whole system. All of it. Every last bit of it. None of it follows due process of law. So, they don't think there's anything wrong. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't violate our rights. They wouldn't, you know, they don't know. So, you know, there's like half of the population right there that don't think anything is wrong. Oh. Well, sucks to be him that he doesn't believe in what I'm teaching. I show the letter of the law on the screen. This is not my opinion. These are facts of law, history of law. And as of late, I'll be darned. Supreme Court of Idaho in 2019 in State versus Clark, citing exactly the stuff I've been teaching from Blackstone's Commentaries on Laws of England. New York State Rifle Pistol Association versus Bruin case. Number one source they go to, Blackstone's Commentaries on the Law of England. Why? Why? Now, if it's the number one primary source of law to cite from, both from my state Supreme Court and the Supreme Court of the United States of America, I think I'm good. And y'all better listen. Because I don't know of anybody else out there that even talks about Blackstone's Commentaries on the Laws of England, let alone... Oh, what'd I do? Oh, they're down here. I had to move them. And a shout out to Jacqueline for these. Let alone who actually... Oh, yeah, I suppose it should change the screen here. Right? Let alone has all 4 volumes of Blackstone's Commentaries on Laws of England, and clearly I do some reading, because reading means reading. So again, shout out to Jacqueline out there for those books. I very much appreciate it. Love you, dear. Yeah, well, that's good, Mark. But Washington State has no more mandatory bar members only. Interesting. All right, let's go back to the Michael Jaco, because there's some more good info here. There's a lot of good info in this video, but
they're going to do their cases again, or run again. But this particular gentleman said his lawyer got called up because she's like reservist for the military, JAG officer. She got called up, so it's happening. It's happening. They're getting ready to do it. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of what David Clements put out, and I was like, dang, dude, you're like, this guy is like stud with information. I'm telling you, unbelievable. So he talked about how the judicial is completely corrupt. There's nothing we can do. Every time we come at, we need this taken care of, 2020 election fraud, whatever it is, we get stalled out. And they come up with some other thing. No. And of course, we have Pam Bondi, who was basically Trinus Evans was talking. Trinus, awesome guy, January 6th guy, and he turned self-lawyer, right? So he works for a firm now, and they're crushing it everywhere. He says Trump needs to go full Lincoln. Now, full Lincoln means they suspend writ of habeas corpus. Basically, that's what President Lincoln did. And because we're at war. Now, we know that we're at war, right? The judicial's corrupt. We got corrupt officials everywhere. We have bonds that are about ready to, implode America. So basically, we're going to come in and start doing military tribunals, right? And Pam Bondi, Trinus Evans, is pretty funny. He says, Pam Bondi is Bill Barr in a wig, right? So, oh my God, I cracked up on that one. So the senior executive service basically runs the FBI, the CIA. Juan has talked about them quite a bit. They're basically non-elected. They're in the background. They're running the show. They're going to probably go to Guantanamo, all of them, right? Now, David Clements talked about how there was at one time, I guess it was during the Civil War, when habeas corpus was suspended. And there was, I forget the case he was talking about. It was one military tribunal, just one. But under that military tribunal, they did 390 people. And all of them were convicted within 3 weeks. Now we know if we had John Brennan, go through this corrupt legal system, because David Clements talked about that. He said he did something similar that took 7 years. We don't have that time, all right? A couple weeks, week or two, 1 or 2, 3 weeks, whatever. Now, David Clements said that the SAVE Act will not pass, right? The reason why is because they would be put out of office by the SAVE Act, the congressmen, because a lot of them probably are going to go to Guantanamo, right? And so they're going to have to resist all the way to the end. Now, Article 2, President Trump has talked about Article 2 of the Constitution several times. He's like, Article 2, I can do whatever I want. Like he's commander in chief. and we're under basically
See, Trump knows
uh,
martial law.
continuity of governance. So we're under continuity of
Continuity
governance
of
right
government.
now, and this is what the professor's talking about, David Clemens, and he says that these JAG officers will take on a lot of these people that are, and he said there's not a few hundred, not thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are going to face military justice.
Yes.
And I'm thinking it might be millions actually, but I guess maybe he's being conservative because he want to blow it up too much. But I don't know. Maybe when it comes on the show, maybe we can go deeper into that. But he said there will be plea deals within the before it goes into military tribunal. There still will be in this ad hoc and new whatever civilian judicial system that's going to be put together when the other ones is basically taken down, right? And a lot of those people will be arrested for having done felonies and all kind of crazy stuff too. These judges are they're gonna pay, right? Especially the J6 judges, all right? So they're gonna get what they gave out, and then some, way more. So they will get the option, he said, of criminal plea deals. So it could be, up to like 20 years. You can plea for, we're gonna just like they did with J6, most of the J6ers, they're like, they didn't give them an option. It's like, you're gonna lose because you're in, the DC district and District of Columbia, which is completely corrupt. And all the people here are leftists that are going to be, they're not jury of your peers, they're leftist. I saw the jury, I saw one of the trials, and I couldn't believe. They looked like average people. They were like crazy, stupid. We had the grandmother that, had Cindy, that had Grandma Cindy, basically. She had done nothing. She was just there. She just wandered to the Capitol and then asked some of the guards, like, how do I get out of here? I don't think I should be in here. And they're like, trying to point her into a place where she's going to get more trouble. But eventually she went out on her own. And they convicted her to like several years or something in prison. And the day that she was supposed to go, President Trump did the pardon. Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. But I mean, I saw that trial. I was like, these people are effed. These are not a jury of her peers. She should be back in her state. And I don't know, she's from Vermont. Maybe jury of her peers wouldn't be so good there either. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I would have been like, F you guys if they come after me. But I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what I've done? Who knows, right? So he said that hundreds of thousands would have the option of, okay, you can do 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, right? Plea deal for your crimes, for all the felonies that you've done, right? You judge, blah blah blah. You can do 20 years, or you can do the trial. You can go to the military tribunal, and you could face upwards of death. Right? And is that death by hanging or firing squad? I don't know, which one is it. Do they get a choice, or is it firing squad or hanging? I don't know. We're gonna see it, guys. We're gonna see it. It's coming. It's coming very soon. We're gonna see it probably within the next, I would say, within the next few weeks, they'll start. Now, who will be first on the list? Like I've said, I think it's going to be Brennan Comey.
So we don't know, but I can tell you right now, a lot of this stuff's already happened. There's been many executed, but talking about the suspension of writ habeas corpus, and Doug, you're talking about, well, not yet because Tanema, Downing, blah 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 blah. Well, here's the thing.
I don't think you're going to get a plea.
let's read what it actually means to suspend the writ of habeas corpus from the Constitution. You know, the letter of law as it is written. Ah, where was it? I was just right there. That was section 9. There it is, yeah, section 9. The privilege of writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion the public safety may require it. That is the only reason to suspend the right of writ of habeas corpus. Even though they say it's a privilege, it's a right. It comes from the common law. But the thing is so many people say, oh, well, the whole Constitution gets suspended. No, it does not. You cannot suspend the Constitution. Because if you suspend the Constitution, the entire government goes away. And again, how does the public servants suspend the law of creation? This is the instrument of government, right? If you suspend the instrument of government, there is no government. That would be unlawful. The servant can't suspend its own law of creation. So this is one of the two most misconstrued things of the Constitution about, well, let's suspend the entire Constitution. No, you could suspend the privilege. We'll say privilege because that's what it says, as it is written, for those involved in rebellion or that invasion. So when we're talking about the rebellion, you know, that's that domestic violence, internal insurrection, an attempt to overthrow the Constitution and war against the people. Article 4, Section 4, which is a political argument, not a judicial one. What is a writ of habeas corpus? Does anybody know what a writ of habeas corpus really is? It's for when you get unlawfully arrested. It's an immediate, bring the body before the court, bring your books and papers, and they have to immediately prove. It's supposed to happen like right now, without delay. And they have to prove that they follow the law and due process of the law immediately. And if they don't, if they can't prove that they follow due process of law, they lose immediately. And you are to be immediately released. That is what the writ of habeas corpus is about. And it's on anything. Right? They try to say, well, it's only for those that are incarcerated. No, if you're being deprived of any of your rights unlawfully, that's what a writ of habeas corpus is about. It was never meant to be for just those incarcerated. So, that's what a writ of habeas corpus is about. You're being deprived of, say, you're being deprived of your children. Right in my encyclopedia set of the all the forms and stuff. There's even a form in there for it's American Jurisprudence Pleadings and Practice Forms encyclopedia set. There's a form in there for a writ of habeas corpus to demand your children back if they've been unlawfully taken from you. Boy, they don't want us to know about that one, do they? So, Treason is 2381, Mark. 3571 is where all the enumeration of fines got moved to, for the most part. Yeah, absolutely. You can write your own writ of habeas corpus, and after my further reading and studies on that, actually anybody can do a writ of habeas corpus on behalf of anyone else. Oh yeah. Because that's coming to the aid and defense of your fellow man. Because if it's happening to your fellow man, it could be happening to you. And we all have the right to defend, right? The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the whole purpose behind that. It isn't about hunting. At its root, it's about self-defense. But that's not what the Second Amendment is really about. The Second Amendment was so that the government could not strip the people of their right to keep and bear arms so they could defend themselves against tyranny. That's what the Second Amendment is about. So, just to clarify that about the writ of habeas corpus and how it can be suspended and for what purposes. Not 100% suspend the writ of habeas corpus. And that particular section is where the Constitution is suspended. No. So, there you have it. As it is written in the Constitution, what it says, as it is written. That the privilege of writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended. That is mandatory language. Unless, that's the exception to the rule. This is a rule of law. This is the rule of law. The fundamental principle, the law. The supreme law of the land, the rule of law. This is the rule of law. Right here, that's the rule. The writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended. The exception to the rule is, except in cases of rebellion or invasion. In other words, people can be, I don't know. Now, talk about State versus Clark, what you can make an arrest for without a warrant. Blackstone's Commentaries on the Law of England, Book 4, Section 289. The exact same section that I quoted, cited from in my paperwork in my current case is the same exact book and section that the Idaho Supreme Court cited from Blackstone's Commentaries on the Laws of England. So just to let you know, Jacqueline, those are the ones that they go by. The ones you bought me, those are it. Not all the amended versions and all the adapted versions, right? All the rewritten crap. No. Back to the original writings of Blackstone's Commentaries on Laws of England. Not all the rewritten crap. So, again, thank you very much. I knew that that's the ones that I wanted. So, you know, that's the thing, is that's the law. And yes, Mark, it's 18 U.S.C. 2381. And this is Section 9 of the Constitution of the United States of America, the supreme law of the land. This is the rule of law. So, this is often misconstrued as suspending the entire Constitution when that's not lawful. Or rebellion, Wendy, right? Like it says, rebellion or invasion. So not the regular, everyday schmo who gets unlawfully arrested. You cannot suspend that right. The exception to the rule is unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion. So, for example, again, back to what I was getting at was, what can we make an arrest for without a warrant? Felonies. Is it a felony to invade our country, our nation? Yes, it is. Therefore, we don't even need a warrant. And because it has to do with invasion, and it's the duty of the military to protect our borders, because a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, that's the first part of the Second Amendment. That is the duty of the military, is to defend this nation from foreign and domestic enemies. It's in the oath that I took to join the Marine Corps. Imagine that. So yes, it only has to do with rebellion or invasion. That's it. Otherwise, the first part is shall not be suspended. There's no authority to 100% suspend the privilege of habeas corpus. Okay? Now, the thing is take a look at what's right before that. The migration or importation of such persons as any of the states now existing shall think proper to admit shall not be prohibited by the Congress prior to the year 1808. Now, this is the reason why the writ of habeas corpus is saying it shall not be suspended except for, because it has to do with the previous section, or previous clause, clause 1 of section 9. Sure, Diesel D's question is, can I explain the difference between rebellion and insurrection? Okay, so here's a good one. Shays Rebellion. A bunch of farmers come together and tried to stand up for themselves. That's a rebellion. When, say, like a set of men, like the bar, comes in, that is internal insurrection. That's internal. So rebellion is when the people do it. Insurrection is when the public servants do it. That's the difference between rebellion and insurrection. And then invasion, and technically speaking, we could say, construe that the bar are foreign invaders. It's a set of men who are clothed with authority. Color of authority. So I hope that, I know you said you got it now, Diesel D, so I hope that clarifies that for everybody out there, what the clear distinction between what a rebellion and a insurrection is. No, clause 3 is no bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed. Quantum Kid, yes, that is the set with the funny S's in it. In fact, it's the same exact writing as what's on avalon.yale.edu, where F's or S's, and yeah. Blackstone's Commentaries on the Laws of England is what Quantum Kid is asking about. Well, that's quite the conundrum there, Slim Frank. What about when the public servant incite the public to do it? We're not the public. We're the private. The public is public servants. Those that are in law, that are in the public, that are bound by the Constitution. But what do you mean incite? Okay, due process of law. If you have a grievance, one, you have the right to petition the court. Number two, you have the right to petition the legislature for the redress of grievances. And like Blackstone says in his commentaries, when it is specifically talking about the laws of nature and these primary absolute rights from the laws of nature, for a vindication of these rights, we are supposed to petition the judicial, petition the legislature, and if we do not get the relief that we demand, then we can resort to arms. In that order. That's due process of law. We cannot automatically take up arms and say, yeah, we don't want to waste our time with that. As even in the Declaration of Independence, we have petitioned in the most humblest terms and only been met with repeated injuries. So they're telling us right there that they petitioned many times before they decided, hey, look, we've just had enough. We've petitioned you. We've warned you. We've told you. And now we're declaring it. We're taking up arms. And in fact, that was June of 1775. The declaration for the taking up of arms, the necessity of taking up arms. That's a real good read, folks, and I've covered that on here a couple of times. So, Declaration for the Causes and Necessity of Taking Up Arms. I believe it was it June 5th? June 6, 1775? Oh, July 6, 1705. Whoops. I thought it was June. Getting confused with the June Lee's resolution. So, Declaration of the Cause and Necessity of Taking Up Arms, July 6, 1775. See, that's the one you really want to read, folks. Even though we have the Declaration of Independence, here's another declaration of why they took up arms. Basically, almost to the day, 1 year prior to the Declaration of Independence. But yeah, again, a really good read here, Right, Wendy, and weaponizing the courts against the American people, warring against. Again, the thing is, are they overthrowing the Constitution? Are they warring against the people? That is internal insurrection. That evokes Article 4, Section 4. But in order to properly execute Article 4, Section 4, what do we have to do? What do we have to do? I just quoted it directly from Blackstone's, but let's read it from the supreme law of the land. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasion, and on application of the legislature or the executive, when the legislature cannot be convened, against domestic violence. This is the supreme due process of law of the land, because law of the land means, literally, means due process of law. They're one and the same. Okay? So, what does it say we are supposed to do? We are to petition the legislature. And if the legislature doesn't get convened, it goes to the executive. This is a political argument, not a judicial one. That's what I'm saying. So, here's what it says. This is what's going on right now. Right? People wonder where the president gets this power to do what he's doing. It's right here. And the judicial branch doesn't have a say in this. You know, I've showed this before. Let's go back to see explanation. Go to that Luther versus Borden. Texas v. White. Right? Upon request by the state, protection against internal insurrection or rebellion. That's what domestic violence is. Internal or rebellion. So just explain that, as Diesel D's asked that question for a clear distinction between the two. What is the difference? One is internal, public servants. The other is external, the people. But see, to suppress domestic commotions, along with concerns about rebellions, delegates expressed fears that a monarchy might arise in a particular state and establish a tyranny over the whole United States. That's what's happened. That's exactly what's happened again with the Reconstruction Acts. They went back to Roman civil law, back under the monarchy. Where is it? Right here. Except for a brief period during Reconstruction, the authority granted by the Guarantee Clause has been largely unexplored. The Supreme Court and other federal courts have largely declined to hear legal challenges based on the Guarantee Clause because they present non-justiciable political questions. The judicial branch does not have jurisdiction. So this also goes back to the question earlier about the, and I've already talked to him in person on this. Lloyd Brunson, the Brunson case. Is that not internal insurrection? Yes. So why are they going through the judicial branch when it specifically says, as it is written, that we are to petition the legislature for the redress of grievances? Oh. And see, I love this right here. The clause uses the term domestic violence in the now archaic sense of insurrection or unlawful force fomented within a country, and not the modern usage meaning violence between romantic partners or within a household. But then it says, oh, see Black's Law Dictionary, 11th edition, 2022, and the Federalist number 21. Well, I guarantee you, Federalist number 21 doesn't have anything to do with domestic relations. And where in the hell does Congress get the authority to redefine what domestic violence is? We the people wrote that Constitution, right? That's the supreme written will of the people. Public servants have no authority to alter what that means. Well, it's now archaic. It's archaic. It's still written as the Constitution as our supreme law of the land. It's not archaic. I don't care if it's 250 years old or not. That's the letter of the law. That's the rule of law, as it is written. No, that's bar speak, trying to diminish, because see, oh, they don't want us to know that domestic violence is actually about internal insurrection. Now, I'll tell you right now, back in 2019 when I first found this, it didn't say that. This is one of those points where I go, I know that they're watching my shows because they went in and changed it and added that verbiage. They had to clarify that because that's what I brought up then. So, nope, we most certainly did not grant them the authority to redefine the words written in the Constitution. But see, notice that they don't cite any case. Where's the case? Why would I need to see domestic violence in Black's Law Dictionary from 2022 to tell me what's something from 200 plus years ago? Now let's go back to Federalist number 21, which explains this particular section, or to the Constitutional Convention itself. Okay, Slim Frank. Because the legislators are the corrupt. How do you know? Show me your petition you filed and it got denied. Because I'm telling you, I've worked with people that we have done petitions and have prevailed. It does work. Factually. And then the second part here is, this gives powers to the president to incite the Insurrection Act. I don't care about any act. This is what the supreme law of the land says that is a duty of the commander-in-chief. That is what we have the military for. That's our true republican form of government, and who has what powers. As it is written. It's not inciting anything. It's executing the law as it is written. See right here. See the records of the Federal Convention of 1787. Imagine that. Why don't we just read what was talked about? What it actually means as it is written. But that's why they put this footnote in here a couple years back, trying to cover their ass. It doesn't matter. You're openly admitting that you're saying it's an archaic sense of insurrection or unlaw. It's not archaic. That's what the letter of the law says. It's the rule of law. Supreme law of the land. You don't get to redefine what it means. Again, that's the question. Where does Congress get the authority to redefine what domestic violence means pursuant to Article 4, Section 4? I don't. I don't see that in anywhere part of Article 1 where the legislature was granted the authority to redefine any of the terms of the Constitution. No, they're like everybody else. They are all, right? The senators and representatives before mentioned and the members of the several state legislatures and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution. Support. It doesn't say interpret. It doesn't say redefine. They are bound to support it. We, the people, are not bound by this Constitution because we're not public servants. We're not sworn in under oath or affirmation to office. Has nothing to do with us. It's for them. Although we're supposed to follow it, as in the process that is due. Yep, absolutely. As it is written is very important because that's called the letter of the law or the rule of law. As it is written. And they're all supposed to be bound to support it. That's where we get into subversion of law, sedition, seditious conspiracy. Then we get into the domestic violence, internal insurrection, an attempt to overthrow the Constitution that we, the people, require them to be bound by, to follow it, to uphold it, because that's what support means, is to uphold. You know, like table legs support the tabletop. Do the table legs get to dictate what's on top of the table? No. They're bound to support what's on top of the table. They don't have a choice. The only choice they have is to not run for office, to not take that oath or affirmation. And then you don't receive the emoluments of that office. You don't receive a paycheck. You don't receive any of the advantages, profits, or gains from that office. If you don't want to be bound to support the Constitution. You can go kick rocks somewhere else. But that's the real problem. Nobody's following the Constitution because they've altered the fundamental law from common law to Roman civil law. It's all code. See, common law of the land. This is the common law of the land, right? This Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof. We're not talking about statutes. What they're talking about, the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, is an Article 5 convention pursuant to the Constitution. And all treaties made which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. That's common law of the land. Well, Jennifer, you're not actually a public servant yet until you're sworn in. You take that oath and you are bound to support the Constitution. But after that, yes. That's absolutely correct, Mark. The Law of Nations, Book 1, Chapter 19, subsection 212, clearly defines what a citizen is. A member of a civil society, government, who is bound to perform certain duties and is subject to its authority. Oh. By becoming an elected official, taking the oath, and being bound to support this Constitution, you are subjecting yourself in law. This is how you get in law, not at law. See, that's the clear distinction between in law and at law. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. Everybody goes, well, Article 1 court, I want an Article 3 court. No, you don't. And they're not Article 1 courts. There's only one judicial power. These are inferior to the one Supreme Court. There's only the judicial power. And what is it? The judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and in equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority. See? It's the judicial power. But again, it's only one. I know, Jacqueline. Thank you, thank you. But this is, I've covered this before. A lot of people are so confused, on this, the judicial power, and the fact that it's vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. That doesn't make them Article 1 courts. It's still an Article 3 court for suits in law. Right? Now, when we look at Article the 7th, which they call 7th Amendment, in suits at common law. Oh, let's see. District courts. This is Idaho Constitution, Article 5, Judicial Department. The state shall be divided into 5 judicial. Oh wait, it's not the one I was looking for. I thought it was that one. Original and appellate jurisdiction. Supreme Court shall have jurisdiction to review on appeal any decision of the district courts, the judges thereof. Now, when we say original jurisdiction, it means it originates there. It starts there. Right here. The Supreme Court shall also have original jurisdiction to issue writs of mandamus, certiorari, prohibition, and habeas corpus, and all writs necessary proper to complete the exercise of its appellate jurisdiction. So the Supreme Court is where we're supposed to be filing writs of review, writs of mandamus. Writs are supposed to go to the Supreme Court as original jurisdiction. I swear I saw this in here. Oh, there it is. Jurisdiction of the district court. The district court shall have original jurisdiction in all cases both at law and in equity, and such appellate jurisdiction as may be conferred by law. That's common law. At law. Not Article 3 in law. That is the clear distinction. In law is those who are bound by the Constitution, are in law, and is subject to its authority. To all things that are made pursuant to it. They are bound by that. So statutes apply to them. American Jurisprudence, Volume 16. Constitutional Law, Section 2. Statutes are for government civil conduct. It is to control their conduct, not ours. We did not give government, state or federal, the authority to make any legislation applicable to the people in the private, because we live at law. We are not in law. That is the two different jurisdictions or bodies of law. And just so we can really clarify this, let's look at, blow your mind, Judiciary Act of 1789. Oh, wait a minute. Why does it talk about common law? Well, I'll be darned. Would you look at that in the Judiciary Act of 1789? Talk about common law? The right of a common law remedy where the common law is competent to give it. Even in law, a suit in law, you still, right? Shall have also exclusive original causes of civil causes of admiralty and maritime jets in law, including all seizures under laws of impost, navigation, or trade of the United States, where the seizures are made on waters or navigable from the sea or vessels, or 10 or more tons burthen within their respective districts, as well as upon the high seas, saving to suitors in all cases the right of a common law remedy where the common law is competent to give it. And shall also have exclusive original cognizance of all seizures on land or other waters than aforesaid, made of all suits, blah, 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 blah. Of all suits at common law where the United States sue in the matter of disputed matter, common law, and it shall be by jury, even in cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. Oh, wait, pardon me. In all causes except civil causes of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction shall be by jury. And that's for trials in the district courts. And being further added, the circuit court shall have original cognizance, concurrent with the courts of the several states, of all suits of a civil nature at common law or in equity, where the matter in disputes exceeds exclusive costs of some value of $500, and the United States are plaintiffs or petitioners, or an alien is a party. But even in the Judiciary Act of 1789, they reference the common law, even in admiralty and maritime, because that suits in law. But that's only if it's civil in nature, not criminal in nature. Right? Because the Constitution makes it very clear that in all criminal, even in the Constitution it says, right? Oh yeah, right here, Section 3, treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them. That's that internal insurrection. That's why it's treason, folks. I thought Article 3 had that in there. Maybe it was Section 9. No. Where is that? Anyway, it's here in the Constitution itself where it says the trial of all crimes shall be by jury. Crimes, criminal. I swear. How am I missing this? I thought it was actually in Article 2 where it said it. No, it's not. Anywho, and by the way, out there, folks, it's my first name is spelled Kirk. It's Kirk, like Captain Kirk. An American constitutionalist, huh, Jennifer? How about just say you're an American? Section 2, Clause 3. Seen that. Here we go. Wouldn't the MS-13 gang members be considered giving aid and comfort to our enemies who are warring against the people? What is violence if it is not warring against us? No. That would be a foreign invasion. There's a perfect example of foreign invasion. I was looking for the part where it says in the Constitution, the trial of all crimes shall be by jury. Trial by jury. It's in the Constitution itself, and I'm not talking about 7th Amendment. I thought it was in Article 2. Oh, there it is, right there. Section 2, Clause 3. You're right. I was in the wrong section there. Article. The trial of all crimes, except in cases of impeachment, shall be by jury, and such trial shall be held in the state where the said crimes shall have been committed. And when not committed within any state, the trial shall be such place or places as the Congress may by law have directed. So, we got it. We got it, busy bee buzzing. We got it figured out. Article 3, Section 2, Clause 3. So, even with the judiciary, which is consistent, I would say the Judiciary Act is consistent with the Constitution. But again, notice that the Judiciary Act of 1789 references many times to the common law. Yeah, buddy. Common law is the law. Okay? It's supposed to be. Now this goes and explains how and why the entire judicial branch is corrupt. Because they're no longer suits at common law. Even the Idaho Constitution requires it to be at common law. They do not have admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. And even if they did, which they don't, because it clearly doesn't state that here. Right? They don't have that. So, again, what are we being subjected to? Roman civil law, the code. That's the truth. That's the reality. That's what we need to call it out as. A foreign jurisdiction. It is unlawful. Okay? All right, folks. If you enjoy my shows and want to help support me, I greatly appreciate it over on Patreon. Links are in the description down there, plus on my website, kirkslawcorner.com. If you want to make a direct donation, you can do that through Buy Me a Coffee. Link is down in the descriptions there. I'd greatly appreciate some donations over here. Really appreciate the support that I have gotten from those that are subscribers and have donated through Buy Me a Cup of Coffee there. Special thanks to my patrons on Patreon, all of them over there, but specifically those ones in Tier 3 and Tier 4. Diesel D's, Wendy, Jacqueline, Ralph, Prayer Warrior, don't forget Chin, Wendy, oh yeah, I already said Wendy. Those are the main ones there that I can remember right off the top of my head, so please forgive me if I forgot to name you personally here tonight, but do want to, oh yeah, Michael, yep. But yeah, definitely want to send a shout out to all those supporters and for your continued support and being here, learning right along with me, right? We're all learning this together. You know, reading and sharing what I learn as I go as well. So, yeah. So, thank you all for being here tonight. God bless, much love, and Wednesday night workshop, we'll see you folks over there. And if anybody needs one-on-one time with me, that's Tier 4 through Patreon. And that link is in the description as well to my Patreon. It's also on the website, kirkslawcorner.com. Other than that, be safe. Keep your eyes peeled. Pay attention to your surroundings and what's going on. And viruses do not exist.